One of the things that we should probably have a discussion about today are women, especially women in your family who are promiscuous. Even you yourself, the person who's watching me, might have struggled with promiscuity. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And I want to take some time and talk to you guys about women who may struggle with, lustfulness, chasing sex, or obsessing about sex quite a bit. We spend quite a bit of time talking about men who do this, and that's quite normalized, or at least not, maybe not normalized, but maybe a little bit more familiar. But one of the people that we don't talk about is mothers, sisters, maybe even grandmothers, intergenerational families, where the women also were very lustful. That's all they talk about is, having sex, what sex is going to be like. You can't have a normal conversation without there being some sort of reference to sex or intimacy. When you go out or when you're with them, they're constantly vying for sexual attention. And so they may be provocative in how they dress, their mannerisms, or how they speak and engage with other people. Everything has to have a sexual undertone, and they describe it as, oh, that's just my personality. Oh, I'm just super flirty. That's who I am. That kind of thing. And so they often dismiss it as being harmless and just maybe them being bubbly and this and that. And but really, what they're doing is it's almost like a cry for help. If every time you engage with them, there's always a sexual undertone. And some people may say, well, that's just a dynamic I have with my friend and that, or my family member. And if that's you guys' dynamic, that's fine. But there ought to be some times when you can engage with them, when it isn't all about sex. And sometimes they'll take it wherever they can get it. Everyone becomes like an opportunity for them to pursue in terms of intimacy, connections, and things like that. And a lot of times with women who struggle with lustfulness, they may actually define it as like looking for love, or looking for connection. But, underneath all of that, they very seldom do well in relationships. So the relationships aren't usually long term. They may have like passionate affairs and things of that nature. And again, like I said, no one is off limits. So that means that people that are married, people that are already involved, even a person that's involved with another family member. So they really don't have any morals or any qualms when it comes to whoever they see fit is available, and they don't feel bad about it. Or if they do feel bad, they're still going to do it anyway. And so they tend to be a lot more on the impulsive side. They may actually get involved into sex work. And not because they're forced to or because that's the only way they need money. It's because I like the attention from sex work. I actually like doing sex work and I like how it makes me feel. And I feel like, I'm good at it. So why not make money off of it? And they don't mind. Who knows? They may willingly share about that with someone else while the two of you or while all of you are in a public setting. They may openly share and again, still continue to be provocative, invite friends of the family to visit them, in those precarious ways, if they're involved in sex work. So I'm just curious about any of you, if you've had, promiscuous women in your family or if you know of women. But yeah, there's a lot of times, unfortunately, there is an emptiness there that is like, very similar to men, it's never enough. It's always sort of some endless search for the next person to fulfill them, to validate them, through sex. And they may even have sort of a reputation at work, where they've maybe have slept with all of their colleagues or a fair number of them, and everybody knows about it, that sort of thing. So, again, hope this helps. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much.